lunch that I know 8 o'clock sucks, but honestly, I am so tired already. Like my energy at about 3 p.m. just plummets. It's like I need to do these calls at like 4 in the morning when I'm talking on Voxer like I'm on fire. That's when I need to do these calls. Okay. So today, I have a little pod with Paula, Marianne, Jen. There's a couple of us in there, and they asked me to talk about creating content and storytelling and creating good posts, basically, is just like the simple form. So perfect lead in, because I was actually just making a module for my coaching program. So I was going to share this with you guys anyway. So it was perfect. I've got it recorded, so I'll put it in the team page and it'll stay in the team page forever and ever and ever. So I do have actually some slides made, which is super fancy. So I'll go through the slides and then we can kind of do any Q&A. So just drop your questions in the chat. I am going to use this for my coaching program. So tonight, just like drop your questions in the chat and we'll do it after the fact. We'll go through a Q&A and I'll just kind of stop the recording. Okay, any questions before? About storytelling, anything like that? Okay, cool. I will share my screen. Okay, can you guys see that? Okay, Marianne, can you give me a thumbs up? Oh, okay, cool. There's this like fancy little thing now we can do with Canva, which is awesome. Okay, so creating captivating content. This is something that I have like been researching big time since I kind of had the idea that I wanted to do more of a coaching business. And there is really a strategic art to it. However, no one has to think they need to go and take creative writing courses or anything like that. Truthfully, the magic on social media right now is when you are writing a post, try to think of it like you're writing in your journal. People want it to sound really real. So for example, something that I do all the time, and this is why I never did before, but I do now, is I proofread everything. So before I would just like fire it off. I didn't care if there were spelling mistakes. I just really didn't give a crap. I would just fire it off. I still don't care really about grammar and spelling, but what I do care about is like enunciation. So when you're saying, I am going to do my workout now and it is going to be amazing. We want it to sound more like I'm heading down to go to the workout. It's going to be great. So it's like IT''S. Like you want it to sound exactly like it flows off of your tongue. That is how people want to read. That is how they're going to really like get to know you better. Like they don't want to, you're not writing a book. Basically, I think some of us are trying to be so polished that it sounds very like a novel, where this is more just like a quick get to know you, like the person is actually talking to you. Does that make sense? It's a big thing that like still, even though I know that I don't want to do it, I'll go back and proofread and I'll see so many like I sound like a robot and I'll have to take it out. So that would be the first tip for creating content, is really just let it flow out of you. Just let it go. And I've shared this trick before, but it works so well for me, is using the voice message. So text to talk, or talk to text, talk to text. So you literally I just use my notepad and I get the keyboard up and I plug it in, like I push the microphone button and I talk out my post. And then I just go in and clean it up. But for me, everything flows out of me so much better when I do it that way. So tip number 1. But let's get right into the nitty-gritty of creating some really good content, really content that is going to connect with your audience. But I am going to preface this with, none of this is going to work if you have not done the 3-day challenge in the Contagious community. If you do not know your audience, this isn't going to work. You really have to narrow in on who you want to help. I think a lot of us are sitting and spinning and saying, I just don't have an audience. I'm not attracting anyone. Well, part of that is you deciding who you want to help. I know exactly who I want to help. I want to help women that can't keep their paws out of the pantry. I want to help women that are, just like going through big changes in their life, like hormonally, and things aren't the same anymore, and bodies are feeling different. Like, that's my jam right now. That's where I am right now. That's not where I was 5 years ago. It wasn't where I was a year ago, but it is where I am right now. That's who I want to help. So that's what I'm talking about all the time. And I want to help women that want to earn money online. So I know who I want to help. That's my audience. I decide. And then I go and find them from that point. I hope that makes sense, because I think a lot of us are really still hung up in not knowing, who our ideal client is, and not knowing who we're talking to, and don't overthink it. Who do you want to help? What do you like helping with? What in our toolbox of Beachbody do you really enjoy and really want to help? So you could be really into fitness, like you really love our cardio kick-ass workouts, and you cannot wait to do the work. Like, you are just dying to do the work. Well, I would say that you're really interested in helping women of any age that love fitness, that just love it. So talk about that. Talk about what you loved. Stop making it so complicated. But none of this is going to work. You could have the best post in the world, but if you're not talking to the right people, it's not going to work. So if you haven't done that challenge for real, like, that's my best shit in that. That 3-day challenge is good. Like, that is really good stuff. So go do it. Take the time to do the market research, because it's really a bummer if you've spent a whole week talking about getting up early in the morning and how you're this mega star at waking up early in the morning, but none of your audience cares. They don't want to get up early in the morning. So that doesn't work. Like, you have to figure out what your audience right now wants, and then you have to make a decision. Okay, well, my whole audience wants to talk about fitness, and I am actually not really into fitness. What do I want to do here? Do I want to just decide I'm into fitness, or do I want to tweak my audience? So then you start talking about what you want to talk about, and you proactively go and find the people using hashtags, using different pages that would be more of your interest. You can control your audience by how you speak and where you go look. Go look on pages that interest you. Go use hashtags. So this is kind of getting off track, of course, but you have to remember that the hashtags that you're using on your posts and the hashtags that you're using to search for your people are not the same. So the hashtags that you're looking at when you're searching for your people are going to be hashtags that you want to help those people. Like, you have to get into the heads of your customer, your ideal customer. What would a woman that is struggling with nutrition, that's probably a mom, she works, what kind of hashtags would she use? Or what pages is she going to on Instagram? So I might search emotional eating. I might search healthy kids recipes, healthy family recipes. I would go to Clean Food Crush page, because I know she's full of my people. So you have to go look at those. Those are different than the hashtags that you're going to use on your post. The hashtags that you're going to use on your post are the hashtags that your ideal customer would be searching. So they're different. Does that make sense? I'll do a whole call on hashtags. I don't want to get too off track. Okay, so to make a great post, we need to have a hook statement. This is key. It is your first sentence. You legitimately have one sentence to capture your audience's attention. If you do not get them in that first hook, they're gone. They are gone. They are not staying. The hook is, I have to get rid of this so I can, okay. The hook isn't, if the hook isn't on point, it's not gonna matter how much energy, how magical, whatever the rest of your post is, they did not see it and they do not care. Okay, so this is the most important part, that first sentence. So what not to do? Happy Monday. It's Motivation Monday, guys. Flex Friday. And I am not laughing at you because I have done all of these. In fact, I went back to my page and found some of my crazy stuff. So I've done all of this kind of stuff. Okay, guys, what's up, guys? All of that stuff, people could care less. They do not care about that. Do not do that. What should you do? I want you to pay attention to what stops your scroll. So how could you do that? Go to the Explore page on Instagram and just scroll through some posts and see what stops you. What hooks actually make you stop? So for me, an awesome example is Angie Lee. I don't know if you guys follow Angie Lee. Hers are friggin' every single one makes me I don't know, she's always talking to Cheryl and Susie, and it's like she says Michelle every single time, because I don't even care what the stupid post is about. It always stops me, always. So I tend to go to her page often and kind of try to get some ideas for myself. Another way that I do it is I'll verbal diarrhea my whole post out. I'll just write everything that I have out that I want to talk about, and I will read it, and I will find that one sentence that's really catchy, and I will copy and paste it to the top of the post. It doesn't mean it has to flow. The first post, its only job is to stop your person. So the one that I always talk about is my I hate shakes. That got a ton of attraction. I'm the shake girl and I hate shakes. It stopped everybody. They wanted to read about that, right? So, but a good way to research what stops you, because it would go to reason that it's going to stop your people as well. But that's a good way to sort of research it. And I'm going to make a PDF of a whole bunch of different hook statements for you guys, just so you can have a little library of them to use and tweak and whatever. Okay, so here's some ninja hook tips. Create hooks using your ideal client's exact language. Who can unmute themselves and tell me, how do you get your client's exact language? What do we have to do to know the words that our clients are actually speaking? So we have to do market research. I can see you guys giggling. We have to do market research. The only way we know what our clients and our customers and our audience want from us is to ask them. Stop trying to assume that you know what your audience wants. Every single week, I think that we should be doing market research. What does that mean? Asking your audience questions in your posts, doing polls, just asking. If you watch my stories, you guys know I do this once a week for sure. Last week, I was blown away. So I don't know why I was blown away, because I have PCOS and I talk about it a little bit, but I've actually never actively gone and searched PCOS people, because they kind of bug me. They're usually really wah, I can't lose weight, and they just kind of annoy me. However, I never realized how many of them are following me. Holy crap. And what's interesting is, now that I'm going to be 45, my hormones are totally out of whack. Had to change medications, a whole bunch of stuff is happening. And I'm noticing that a lot of the things that I have to do to kind of manage that is the same as what you have to do to manage a really high intense PCOS diagnosis. So it's funny that I found that out, because now I really am wanting to talk about a lot of that stuff, and I can actually serve those people with PCOS. So I didn't realize how many of them were following me until I actually asked that question. Like, why are you here? I did 3 or 4 polls. Why are you here? And I just went on live video. I was just like on my story, like, what do you guys want from me? Like, I don't want to just be here talking to myself. What do you want? Are you struggling with meal planning, emotional eating? Are you here for business tips or mindset? Are you here because you have PCOS, or I don't even know what I said. Like, I even said fitness tips. Like, I just randomly threw out a bunch of stuff, and I was shocked, actually. Okay, so you need to know that so you can see what they're actually struggling with, and then you need to go talk to them. So if you feel like you don't have any conversations, go do some polls, and then you go message them. And what I say is, oh my gosh, like, Marianne, thank you so much for answering that poll. You said that you were really struggling with emotional eating. I would love for you to just expand a little bit about that, because I just want to make sure I'm bringing you a lot of tips that can be really helpful. Would you mind just telling me a little bit more about the struggles with emotional eating? Like, short and sweet, but it opens up a conversation. And then what it does is she's going to speak back to me with her exact language, and I'm going to use that in a post. Because she might say something like, I don't know, like, yeah, the nighttime binges are out of control. Well, you bet next week, my hook statement is going to be, your nighttime binges are out of control. ... And then I'm going to talk about it, and I'm going to solve the problem. Okay, so I can speak exactly the way she speaks. Instead of me, I might have said, are you an emotional eater? Well, they might not really get that. Like, my audience might not get that, but they'll really resonate with, you know, my nighttime binges are out of control. I hope I'm making sense. Okay, I statements that explain your transformation. So most likely the transformations that you have had, your ideal clients will have had as well. It goes along with figuring out what problems you have solved for yourself with Beachbody or are solving, and that's going to resonate with your crowd. So i.e., I used to sneak downstairs and binge on junk food every single Saturday night after my husband went to bed. So something that's actually happened in my world will resonate with my crowd. Okay. So using your ideal client's language is key, and using all caps and emojis will grab attention. Okay, so here's just one from me just yesterday. You don't want to bug, annoy, or irritate people when you're sharing on social media. Am I right? Well, my contagious community mailbox or DM box is full of, I feel salesy. I don't want to annoy people. I don't want to bug people. So I just used that exact language in this post, and I don't think you can see here how many comments, but that was like a ton. That post got a ton of engagement and a ton of people for me to start talking to. So that's an example of using my ideal client's language right there for them to see, to grab their attention. And the emoji thing I really definitely take from Angie Lee. She's always got like a bunch of emojis in that first little section to grab the attention. Okay, so I actually would love some like interaction here. You guys can unmute yourself for this actually. So how could we change this up? So cheers to being and disclaimer, this is no one from Beachbody. This is not one of our, this is nobody's posts that we know. Cheers to being healthy and happy. Each morning, these two, and it was a picture of her 2 kids drinking shakes. So she's like an isogenics lady or something. Each morning, these 2 emerge from their bedrooms, and request a flavor. Like, whatever. Like, what? Would you read that? I'd be like, you're lying. Like my kid, I have to like throw it down her throat. Like once in a while, she actually wants it, right? So how could we change this up? How could we speak to other moms that want their kids to be healthy? That's basically the point she's trying to make, right? Like, I want my kids to have something healthier for breakfast. So how could we actually speak that it would catch someone's attention, catch a mom with 2 kids' attention? Could we say something like, wouldn't it be great to have something that would, or actually, no, something even better would be, do your kids wake up and start stuffing sugary cereal down their throat? Like something to grab other moms' attention. So they're going to be like, yes, like my kids always do that and it drives me crazy. Then they have a sugar high, or, you know, like, do you understand what I'm saying? I can only see a few of you, Marianne, Jennifer, like trying to take this idea. There's nothing wrong with the idea. She wants to talk about her shake. Nothing wrong with that. But how can you grab the attention? Because cheers to being healthy and happy, like no one is stopping for that. They don't care. It doesn't matter how cute the kids were. They had shakes in their hands, so everyone knows what they're doing. So it's taking the idea of your post and just really finding something that's going to stop the scroll. So they know they will start their day this way and can make an additional request. Nora usually requests sugar and Andy either toast or oatmeal. Most days their tummies are full after their shake. Like I would probably say something like funny, something like, oh yeah, here's another day full of a sugar high, like going to school with a sugar high. You know, I wish I could get, I don't know. I can't even think right now on the spot, but you guys get the point. That cheers to being healthy and happy is definitely not going to be something that catches anyone's attention. And I see that stuff all the time. Okay. So the next part of so this is like really like a formula, right? So we've got the hook, and the next part of your post has to be the catch. The next section is about 2 to 3 sentences, and it should make your audience want to read the entire post. This is where you want to ask them a question so they're really relating to you. So that's when you're going to say, you know, am I right? Do you feel like this too? And be you, like talk in your language. Like I don't want to offend anyone here because it works for lots of crowds, but something that Terry always made a lot of fun of was like, do you feel me, mama? And it just would never be like my language. So I would never write that, right? But if that's your language, like you have to make sure you're talking in your language, because people can read through if you're not like speaking like yourself. It goes right back to just, you want it to flow. So if that's like in your natural language, use that kind of a question. Paint a picture for them using their pain points. So again, there's another place that you can use the pieces of dialogue that they're giving you in the message box. So do you see how important that is to really be talking to your people? Not in a sale way, like not worrying about selling something. It's like literally researching your business. Like, who am I talking to? What are they actually struggling with? It's so much easier than trying to figure it out on your own. Like, it's so much easier not having to guess what your people want from you, because we can just ask them. And then we have like scads of material to use in our posts. They should be like, your people should be reading it and saying, damn, like she gets me. She seriously gets me here. And I will have that. Like when I do those posts about emotional eating, about like being in the pantry at night, like I legitimately always have someone, oh my gosh, like I can't believe it. You read my mind. Not maybe this week I did a post about waking up to 25 candy bars in the garbage. I had several women, you know, they feel like they can trust me. If I admit it, they'll trust, like they trust to share with me that happens to them all the time. So you want You want people to be feeling relatable at that point. So that's the catch. Just a couple sentences of just making it relatable to your audience. Okay, are there any questions so far? I can't see the chat. Oh. Suggestion, talk your post out loud. And if it sounds not like you. Yeah, totally, Darlene. That's why I love doing the voice, like just like voicing my whole, like talking out my whole post. It just flows so much better out of my mouth than when I'm typing. But yeah, definitely like reading your post back, proofreading it. And like Darlene suggests, such a good suggestion is like actually reading it out loud. And if it doesn't sound like you, then it's not you. It's just not, it's not you. So it needs to change up a little bit.
And like sometimes I will like do the voice record and then I play it back. And if I sound hideous, I'm like, no, this is not working. Okay, so I need to do something different here.
That's a good idea. Yeah, to play it actually right back to you. Yeah, that's a great idea. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think there's so much power in just like talking it out, because then it really, really sounds like you.
Because I'm not the, hey, mama, because I don't have kids. So that is not me.
Exactly.
And I'm not, hey, girl. I'm like, hey, girl, bitch, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And that's actually another really, it was like a brain, like a total eye opener when my coach Jamie told me this. Always be saying you, like even in your stories. And I went back and watched a lot of my stories and I'm like, hey guys, oh, actually always, hey guys. And she's like, stop. Like she actually called me right out specifically. She's like, who are all these guys you're talking to, Michelle? Like, you are talking to one woman and one woman only. You are trying to make one woman feel so special. Like, even though we know we're talking to like hopefully thousands, I am not. Like, that's not how many people watch my stories. Don't get the wrong idea. But like, you're only talking to one because you're really only trying to zone in on one person. So I've been trying so hard to be like, just talking to one person in my stories, and oh, it is tough, but she made a lot of sense. Like, you just really want one woman to feel really special, because in this day and age, no woman feels that special. We just feel like we're like torn in all these directions, kids and work and husband and trying to do this and trying to help everybody. When you finally have someone in your life, even if it's just on a friggin' Instagram story, paying attention to you and talking to you and actually caring, like actually saying like, well, where are you struggling? Like, what's going on? And stopping and just listening, it's like magic for them. Like, they're just so appreciative of that. Okay, so then the next section is here comes the value. There does not need to be any fluffy business. And hello, I am the worst for adding in all this extra fluff. And again, that's why you need to like go and proofread. You do not need to give several examples of how many times you were in the pantry at midnight and what you exactly ate and how you felt the next day. Like, you don't have to do that. What you need to do is give value and be credible. Okay? This is the piece that most of you, myself included, are missing every single time. And it's why people aren't in our message boxes. It's because we are not positioning ourselves as the authority. And I know I can hear some of you already saying, but I'm not the authority. I don't know what I'm doing. Yes, you are. You are 5 steps ahead of someone. You are. So start believing in yourself. That is step number 1 of every single call I do. Start frigging believing in yourself. You know more than someone. You 100% do, and you have to start believing that and showing and sharing that in your posts. So this is where we solve the problem. I have had several posts that I thought were so amazing go so bad in the comments. all of a sudden I was trying, or so I thought, that I was like the leader and the authority, and I was going to help all these people with this challenge pack because I was sharing my vulnerable stuff and how it had helped me. And all that happened in the comments was they were trying to solve my problem. They were giving me suggestions. And I was like, no, this is going wrong. This is going wrong. I'm supposed to be telling you how to do this. And it's because I missed this whole part of creating my post. I didn't give the value. I didn't educate. I didn't show them that I was boss. This is my post. This is my stuff. I'm the one that knows what I'm doing. So this is where you can do, here are my top tips on how to handle emotional eating. You can do it that way. This is how I solved this problem. You have to show yourself as, this will be like the meatiest part of the whole post is you positioning yourself as the authority, sharing your story in how you solved the problem that you were talking about. It's where you share your lessons, the details, but it doesn't need to be really fluffy. Like, we don't have to add all this extra fluff that really gets lost and just gets kind of confusing to people. I love the, like, here's my 3 top tips and separating them, showing yourself, or here's what I'm going to give you to solve your emotional eating problem, or here's what I'm giving in my challenge group to get us all up early and start our morning routine. You have to be solving the problem, educating, inspiring, but being very influential in your inspiration. Inspiration can sometimes get very fluffy. So you just want to make sure, if it's one of those more inspiring posts, that it's got an authoritative tone to it, because this is where posts can go really wrong. Okay. And last, but definitely not least, and another thing that people are often missing, is the call to action. You've got to be inviting. You've got to be telling them that they can join you, or that you are the person to help them. So you brought the value. You gave them your 3 top tips. You gave them all the information they need in that post to solve what you were talking about. You gave a lot of value. Now it's your time to ask them to join you, or drop an emoji, or even as simple as asking a question at the end of your post, so you'll get some responses, so you can get some stuff going on in your message box. It doesn't always have to be a challenge group invitation or an invitation to coaching. You should be ending every single post with a question, every single one, to try and get people answering and get them in. And it doesn't even have to, like, I follow this one girl and she is so successful. I'll share it with you. I can't remember her name right now. She does the same as me. She's like a network marketing coach, and friggin' her posts, every single one has a question, and sometimes it's like totally random. Are you tea or coffee? But it doesn't matter. Like, her point is, it doesn't matter. You just want them answering you. You just want people in your DM box. And what easier way than really get them reading your posts and then end it with something funny. Like, sometimes she's just like, okay, dogs or cats? Like, it's very funny, but she'll have like 80 comments. Like, it's interesting, because I'm always trying to make it like, oh, it has to flow. It has to make sense. It has to all match. It doesn't. It actually doesn't. People don't care, right? I mean, obviously, if it's one of your intentional, join my challenge group, join my team, that's intentional. That's like, drop an emoji or click to apply, whatever. But a lot of your stuff is going without anything. They're just reading it, and you're getting pissy pants because no one liked it and no one commented on it, but you didn't ask them to. You didn't ask them to show up in the comments. So here's an example that I just made up on the fly. What's holding you back from being consistent? I'll share my answer in the first comment. So it's like encouraging them. I'm going to share mine, you share yours. So it's like encouraging community in the comments. Okay, let's stop this and fire away. Oh, Tracy. Okay. So I had someone reach out to me who sells It Works. She asked me what I was doing to lose weight because all of a sudden the stuff she sells isn't working anymore. So after chatting with her, she didn't want to jump up. Could I bring that up? Yeah, definitely, Tracy. That's an awesome, especially when it's at work. It works. The wraps are not working. Yeah, no, like that is an awesome post. Like that's an awesome subject to talk about because how many women like yo-yo dieting, trying all the plans, and you know, you can talk about how you have finally found something that you feel it's not a quick fix, but it's sustainable, and you've been able to stick to it. You've lost like friggin' 20 pounds already. Like you can talk about that and then relate your story into it. Like I used to be like that. I talk about that all the time. Like wasn't until I found Beachbody that I finally got off the yo-yo dieting. So definitely take that content, take some of her words, like go right back to that message, like go right back to her words and take some of it. So, you know, she was trying, stuff was working, and then all of a sudden the stuff isn't working anymore. Like actually take that language and just put it into your post. Does that make sense? I think that'll be a really, really good post. Yeah. And you're not like calling her out. You don't have to talk about anything like It Works or anything like that, but it's interesting that, you know, something that worked for so long isn't working anymore. And that happens to all of us all the time, right? Okay, any other questions? Anything not make sense? Do you need clarification on anything? Want to brainstorm?
Michelle?
Yeah.
What about matching your picture with your post? Like how important is that?
That's so funny. We just talked about this in my mastermind. So I think we all do a really, really good job of pictures. Like, honestly, I do. Like, the only thing that I think that sometimes we don't have is like bright enough lights. But as far as like our emotions with our pictures, I think we do a really good job. We are not using stock images. We're not like, so I think we're really good. I think you see like my Darlene, like you see our facial expressions. Like if I'm talking about something that I hate, you can tell by my facial expression. Like I'm not like, and then my caption is like the opposite emotion. So I do feel, I often get people message me and talk to me about my expressions. Like your expression in your picture just makes me want to read your post. So I do always try to match, but I don't like, my pictures don't have to be taken the minute the post is done. Like I often just scroll back in my camera roll and just try and find something that kind of flows with it. But, you know, like some people, now that I'm like seeing so many other companies, like it's actually insane. Like the stock images and the just like really random pictures people put on their posts. Like their posts are actually really good. And then this picture doesn't even make sense. So I personally think we do a really good job of that. Like Beachbody on a whole, like I think we do a good job of that, like pretty well. But I do think that the emotion on your face should match what's going on in the post. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? I feel like Marianne probably has 10 questions. She's stalled out.
Oh, well, I do. I think, and maybe I missed it because my children took me away for a couple of minutes, but does your call to action always have to be, like, I just have a hard time segueing it right at the end. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, can I put it in? Like, I feel like I need to kind of put it in my post as well.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Well, like you do have a question, like a relatability question, right? So don't confuse a relatability question and a call to action. Like you can put it wherever you want, but your relatability question is like how you're drawing them in. It's like the catch, right? Like how you're being, how when they're saying to themselves, oh my gosh, like I am just like Marianne. I cannot haul myself out of bed in the morning, right? So that's a question. That's like a relatability question. But then at the end, you want to have something. I mean, it doesn't. I think probably like in the law of storytelling, it is supposed to be at the end. Obviously, there's a reason. That's like the strategy. So there's a question of relatability. Then there's you're giving all the value, because that's the thing. You are giving value in this post. Like most posts, we are giving some sort of value, even if it's just like a little quote of inspiration. It's value to your audience. And then you want to ask them a question of any sort. A couple times a week, it should be an invitation. It has to be an invitation a couple times a week. Like it just has to be, you guys. If you are not inviting a couple times a week, like honestly, most of my posts have an invitation at the end. Like, please frigging message me, for goodness sake, what's wrong with you? Like, I have no trouble asking people and having them know that I have something that they can join. Because you would be very surprised how many people may not realize you have something to join.
Yeah.
Like it all goes back to just like, don't try and read people's minds. What's the saying? Like, if you assume, you make an ass out of me and an ass out of you or something. Like, that's the truth. Like, we're all trying to read our clients' minds, which we can't read our kids' husband. We can't read anyone's minds. So it's way easier just to like ask. Or tell.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So does that make sense though? Like the relatability stuff is definitely earlier. It has to be earlier because it has to keep them attracted, like to keep them there.
Yeah.
And then
I love the idea of using the word you instead of I. Like I am you, like you said, speaking to that person.
Yeah. And using we, like getting away from I. The biggest thing is getting away. It's like the difference between self-serving content and content that is serving your audience. Like that's really the only rule you have to remember. Like, or not, I don't mean to call it a rule, but it's like what I always say to myself, like, Michelle, is this just you trying to find like, are you trying to get some words of affirmation here? Or are you actually like trying to help people? Is this just you trying to get a sale? Or are you actually trying to help people here? I constantly have to keep saying that to myself, like over and over. Are you just like desperate to get another coach? Or are you actually trying to help a woman know that she could be doing something bigger and better in her life, no matter what it was? So it's just like always in my head, like, think of them, not you. Think of them, not you.
Yeah.
And then it kind of flows, like the language flows when you have that in your mindset. I'm brainstorming. Oh, that's good. People look at for sure. For sure. And I think that's why the hook statement has become such a big deal, is people look at the picture and they can see the hook statement at the same time. So if it's a big deal, if it's in caps, if it's catchy, like the caps it doesn't matter if you're saying Motivation Monday in caps, they're not going to stop. But if you've got like something that's like, it's a good picture, a bright picture, especially on Instagram. I don't think Facebook as much with the pictures. And guys, don't forget Facebook, okay? Like Facebook is still hotter than Instagram. Like it is. I know everyone's gone all to Instagram, but I'm hanging out on Facebook because people are still there and everybody else is over there. So there's still lots of people on Facebook, so don't forget about it. Going into groups on Facebook is exactly the same as going to different pages on Instagram. So if you're a mom of twins, go find mom of twin groups on Facebook. If you have Crohn's and colitis, go and find those groups. And the only difference is you interact in the group. So instead of just like going friend, you want to make a little bit more genuine connection in there, which in my opinion kind of makes sense. Like, you know, like Instagram's easy to like, or follow. But how many of them actually follow you back? Who knows? Because we're not wasting our time trying to figure that out, right? But in a group, you can actually make some pretty awesome connections. Like, so you go to the posts and you just start like leaving a comment. And if it's a group that you're interested in, twins, maybe like the question I asked you, Marianne, like, do your twins still sleep in the same bed? Or maybe you have a question that you actually want to talk about. I'm in adoption groups and PCOS. I'm in a lot of entrepreneur groups now, and tons of the people in my free group are from Facebook, not Instagram. So my advice is don't forget that Facebook is still very much hotter than Instagram. Like in the whole statistical realm of social media, Facebook is still king. Facebook owns Instagram. So go where you're having good luck. Is if you're on Instagram and nothing's really happening, maybe switch it up. Because just because everyone else is there doesn't mean your people aren't somewhere else. Don't quit and don't think that, oh, this isn't working. Maybe just switch gears. Like I've switched gears a gazillion times, like zillions. If it is not working, I move quickly. Action. If you saw my post today, like action. If something is not working for longer than I am comfortable, i.e. if I'm not at Success Club 10 by the 10th, I'm not comfortable. I have to switch. I have to go back and I have to look, what is not working right now? What am I doing? What am I missing? Like I assess the situation. So if I'm feeling like nothing's happening, and I would say for me, Instagram for Beachbody, it's not necessarily working for me at the moment. Facebook is where I'm making way more connection and new connections. I don't know why. I don't know. So it's just something to think about. It's just an idea, because it's not, I know a lot of people kind of aborted Facebook, and you don't like business page, definitely not. Don't waste one single second on a business page right at the moment. At what date are we? October 9th, 2019. That next month, I could tell you something totally different. That's all up to Facebook. But right now, groups and your personal page on Facebook and stories, people are really getting into stories on Facebook. So just there's so many places. There's just so many places. I mean, I haven't even dipped into like Pinterest, and like there's just so many places, and I don't want you guys doing that. Like you don't have to waste your time doing that, but there are so many people. There just really are so many people. When people say to me, I can't find anyone, it's just not true. There's just so many people, and we don't need that many people. Like we don't. Like you need like a few people a month to help. You don't need hundreds. Like we've got into this like having to have so many people follow us and wanting 10K followers and getting so concerned about how many people like our posts. And my new page, like it has like, I don't know, 1,000, 1,400 followers, but I'm getting like engagement and messages. And it's because I'm just worried about the people. The 10 people that are commenting or liking, I'm not worried about, oh shoot, I didn't have 50 people like it. I'm just like, oh my gosh, these 10 women liked this post. That is friggin' amazing. I am going to pour into them. It's like feeding the people that are at my table and not worrying about the next person. Like, I am not worried about it. I actively do my job every day and follow new people and hope that they're going to be attracted to me. But that's it. I don't worry one more minute about it. I don't worry if the number goes up or down or anything, or how many hearts I get. I worry about like people engaging with me and me engaging back. So anytime someone takes the time to do an action on something of mine, I engage back. So answering a poll, commenting, for sure. Likes, I don't necessarily message people that like my stuff, but if they have commented or they've done a poll, I am like in their DM asking them questions. Because it's very simple for that conversation just to be really like, hey, 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 and then it's done, and I will not let them die. Like, I am constantly like asking questions. I just brainstorm until I can find something that I can ask them to continue the conversation on. And then it grows from there. It's how you kind of grow your like, know, and trust factor. In the DM is the place to be, or the message box. Okay, I'm rambling now. I've been focusing on following on Instagram, but I need to spend some more time on Facebook. Yeah, totally, I would. I still have a very large love affair with Facebook. I quite enjoy it. It's where I started. I don't know, like all my people are there. I don't know if it's an age thing, if I'm old. I don't know, like hashtags, they've confused the shit out of me no matter how much I research them. So I find it so much simpler when I'm on Facebook. I'm like, don't have to worry about all that hashtag business. But I mean, you got to go where you feel good and where your people are. Like, it only makes sense to be where your people are. So if you're having good luck, then stay there. Like, don't move. And I love doing my stories on Instagram, and they just flow over to my stories on Facebook. That's simple for me. I just don't want anyone thinking that there's rules like, oh, we're all on Instagram right now, I have to do Instagram. Like, if it's not working, come on back over to the dark side, because you never know who's there. Especially if you have not plugged into your warm market yet, which I know there's a few of you that haven't. Oh my gosh, like, that's crazy. Like, the people on there already know you and love you. So you never know what can happen when you go to your personal page if you haven't been there already. I know it's scarier because they know you. I get that. I totally get that. But there's probably some people there that would really want to support you too. I choose to focus my energy on those ones. Like Marianne, like, look at her, you know, friend forever, and here she is. Like, you just never know, right? You just never know. Like, that shocked me the night she made me get on the phone with her at 10 o'clock to talk about coaching. That was a shocker. I can't hear you. You're muted.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I was just saying, yes, that was, I did make you get on the phone with me at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, so you, like, and 5.5 years later, right? Like, you just really never know. Yeah, you just never know what's going to happen. So,
well, okay. And that just, sorry, but Michelle, that just kind of like reiterates how you always say, like, no is never no, because I know you've talked about this before, but I've said no to you a lot of times. And I just think of that every time that I'm engaging with someone, and maybe it just comes to that halt. And it's like, okay, you know what? It's no right now, but you will, you know, you will have another post that will trigger them again, and they'll reach out again. Or, you know, like, it's never know.
Yeah. Yeah, like, in fact, Marianne there was a period of time that I kind of thought she hated me a little bit because she got an extra bag of Shakeology and it was like a big deal. But I mean, it just goes back to like, you really don't know. You just never know the people that will come. And she's right. Like a post will trigger them or whatever. Like, just don't prejudge. At the end of the day, don't prejudge. And it's hard to not prejudge. I get that. Totally get it. It's hard not to be like nervous and uncomfortable when there's maybe been some pushback from people. I get all of those underlying emotions. I totally get it. There's still one person in my life that honestly, every time I go and post, I think of her. She has long gone. Like, she unfollowed me 4.5 years ago. Like, she is done. Like, she will not see my posts. But I still do think of her like it's like an insecurity. But you just kind of have to move past it because at the end of the day, like, we're all adults. Like, we're all just doing our own thing. And that's her problem, not mine, right? Like, so, but I get it. Okay, I've been talking enough now. Any other questions before we wrap up? Cool. Was that helpful?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, I will post it in the team page so everybody, and I'm going to do tomorrow like a PDF, like a doc of just like hook statements, some examples, so you can print it off and just have like, I like having that, like guidelines, like that you can kind of tweak and use and have ideas. So hopefully tomorrow, sometime this week. Okay, have a good night, guys.
I had put a question.
Oh yeah, go ahead, Tracy.
I said I had put a question.
Oh,
I guess I could just tell you.
yeah. Totally.
So I've been running into the problem, like focusing kind of like on NICU moms and stuff like that, but I've been running into the problem where a lot of these moms still have babies in the hospital, and I'll be honest, my mind was not on anything but my baby is in the hospital. I need to make sure I eat, and then my baby's in the hospital the entire time I was there. So that's not something I even want to like cross that road with any of those people. So I guess like, how do I change my search to where I'm looking for that same mom, but like that's their child's out of the hospital and their focus is like being home and focusing on that busy life and now readjusting and all that stuff.
Well, I guess I would just ask the question back to you, Tracy. Like, at this point, what are you searching for on Instagram? What are you searching for? Like, you always just have to go inside. Like, what is it that's important to you? Is there some pages that you go for support with your little guy at home now? So is there specific places like NICU moms would go after? Pages or groups on Facebook, or is there something?
For me, my focus is usually, because he has a feeding tube, I usually go to like G2 pages and stuff that has like advice on feedings and different things like that.
So that's exactly what you would use those hashtags, search those hashtags, find those pages. And don't let go of the NICU mom, though, because she's going to be you soon. So it's going to be a longer relationship, but that's okay, because that baby's going to come home and she's going to be exactly where you are. In fact, she's going to look to you as this like support because you've actually been there. It kind of goes back to, we're all 5 steps ahead of someone. So Tabitha's 5 steps ahead of a new adoptive mom, or 5 steps ahead of someone that was just diagnosed with Crohn's and colitis. Marianne's 5 steps ahead of a woman that's pregnant with twins or just had twins. So it's like you're 5 steps ahead of that mom that's still in the hospital. So you can actually be such an amazing, he's so cute. You can be such an amazing support to them right now. And then when they're ready, you'll be there and they will trust you. So open up your search a little bit more to what you're searching right now. Find those women that are in the same spot as you, but don't forget or don't stop using your NICU mom search, because I think that one's very powerful. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect sense, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Okay, guys, I think I got everybody. Okay, awesome. Have a good night, guys.